If you're trying to build muscle, lose fat, or reverse insulin resistance, there's one number you need to understand: 30 grams of protein at every meal. But most people have no idea what that looks like. So in today's video, I'm going to give you 20 different ways to hit 30 grams of protein so you can stop guessing and start getting results. And make sure you stay until the end, because that's where I'm going to be talking a little bit more about plant protein and why it's not the same. Let's start with the easiest options. These are foods where hitting 30 grams of protein is simple and realistic. 1 chicken breast, 1 small steak, 1 salmon fillet, 1 tin of tuna. These are your go-to meals. 1 portion and you've hit your target. No tracking, no overthinking. And that's sort of the point with today's video. I'm going to talk about how you can visualize 30 grams of protein, because tracking calories, weighing your food, it's not sustainable long term. If you can learn in general what 30 grams of protein looks like, you can build meals around this. And that's going to help you to hit your goals without all of the nonsense and time wasting. The next batch of food can also be your go-to. 1 cup of ground beef, 1 kangaroo steak, 1 pork chop, 1 burger patty, and 1 duck breast. Again, these are really easy to build meals around. These are common protein sources. Don't sleep on ground beef. It's inexpensive, it's versatile, it's delicious, and it's a great source of protein. Now this is where people start to get stuck. These are foods that are considered high in protein, but maybe not as high as you think, depending on your serving size. 5 eggs, or 1.5 cups of Greek yogurt. These can absolutely work, but you need to look at the volume. A lot of people aren't having 5 eggs at breakfast. I mean, you totally can. Nothing wrong with that at all. Eggs are an excellent source of protein and healthy fat. And the myth about dietary cholesterol raising your blood cholesterol, that's been debunked. So no concern there. But for a lot of people, that feels like a lot. So just keep this in mind. You might need to pair protein sources. 2 eggs, 3 eggs, that's still great. But just have another source of protein on your plate as well. And these foods are a reason why a lot of people think they're getting enough protein. They think they're getting 30 grams at every meal, but they're probably closer to 10 or 15. Next up, we have some other fish sources. 2 tins of sardines or 2 tins of mackerel. These are great, especially sardines. If you haven't seen my full video on the benefits of sardines, I'm gonna link it on the screen now so you can check it out next. They really are one of the most nutrient-dense foods you can eat. Omega-3s, creatine, B12, vitamin D. They have so many nutrients that people are low in. So make sure to check out that video next. And even if you're not that keen on the taste of sardines, I talk about alternatives in that video. Now let's talk about foods that are often labeled as high in protein, but again, you need pretty big portions to hit that target. When it comes to cheese, you need about 12 cubes. You need 3 mugs of bone broth, 5 whole chicken wings, or 8 strips of bacon. Now you can absolutely eat these foods. They're all great sources of protein. But again, if you're having smaller portions of them, keep that in mind. Now at this point in the video, you might have noticed something. All of the foods I've talked about have been animal sources of protein, and there's a reason for that. But before I get into that, I forgot to mention one very convenient way to get your protein in, and that's with 1.5 scoops of protein powder, preferably whey or beef isolate. Now this is one of the easiest ways to hit 30 grams quickly, easily. Whey protein especially is highly bioavailable. Your body absorbs a lot of it. That's why it's so popular after workouts. But whole food protein sources should always be your foundation. You don't get the same satiety benefits from drinking protein as you do from getting it from food. But if you are finding it really difficult to hit at least 100 grams of protein in a day, then this can be a good addition. Just make sure you're choosing a good brand. The one I like is from Equip. Now this video is not sponsored, but let me tell you, I have tried a lot of protein powders and a lot of natural protein powders with no added sugar or filler or artificial sweetener. And honestly, a lot of them don't taste great. Now I do think it is very important to try to avoid these things, added sugar, artificial sweeteners, and fillers when you're choosing a protein powder, but you still want it to taste good. And Equip does taste good. The chocolate specifically is my favorite. But now let's talk about plant protein sources, because I already know I'm gonna get some questions saying, what if I'm vegetarian? What if I'm vegan? And the truth is, protein from plants, it's just not the same. Yes, you can get some protein from plants, but there are a few things you need to understand first. And the first one is simply that it's less bioavailable. This means your body doesn't absorb and use as much of them efficiently. So even if the label says 30 grams of protein, you're not getting the same outcome. Second is they typically come with a lot of carbohydrates. And this is counterproductive if you're trying to lower your insulin and control your blood sugar. A lot of them are actually higher in carbs than they are in protein, which is why, unfortunately, they're not a protein source. They're a carb source. And third, the portion required in order to hit 30 grams of protein is a lot higher than most people realize. Now, something like tofu is lower in carbohydrates, so it can be a better option compared to other plant sources, but soy does contain compounds that can mimic estrogen in the body, so it's not something I'd rely on heavily. So yes, some of these plant proteins, they can contribute a bit of protein to your needs, but I wouldn't rely on them entirely. But by all means, if you enjoy them, include them. If your goal is to build muscle, lose fat, or improve insulin resistance, your meals should be built around high-quality, bioavailable protein sources first, and then you add everything else around that. So now you've seen exactly what 30 grams of protein looks like across different foods. And if you want a printable version of this list, I've pinned it in my Facebook group. It's called the Healthy Not Complicated Hub, and I'll link it in the description box down below. Once you join, this cheat sheet is going to be pinned at the top. Now I want to hear from you guys. What's your go-to protein source when you're in a pinch? What's one that you always have on hand? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you did find this video helpful, go watch my one on sardines as well. And if you're not really a fan of the taste of sardines, still give it a watch. My goal is that by the end of that video, you'll be more willing to give them a try.